Hello and welcome to Prime Property, your weekly real estate reckoner. I'm Nantara Rai and this is what we have on the show today. Details of the political masterstroke by the Modi government to get around the opposition not letting it pass the land acquisition bill. 300 home buyers in Mumbai stuck in the middle of a slugfest between their builder Orbit and LIC Housing Finance. ICICI Bank gives you tips on improving eligibility criteria for home loans. Also cautions against the common mistakes made by consumers. And on Prime Decor, we discuss the ultimate decor for your homes. Art. Leading art studio Vadera Art Gallery tells us who are the hot new artists. We also find out if art has made a comeback.
Nobody disputed the proposition that land is required for development.
कम नहीं है, पार्लियामेंट में पास नहीं होने देंगे हम, देख लेना.
For infrastructure, for industrialization, for jobs, for housing.
एक इंच जमीन नहीं जाएगी. 56 इंच की छाती 5.6 इंच छाती हो जाएगी 6 महीने में.
So either the center must build a consensus and pass this law quickly, or give the flexibility to the states to make their own laws.
और 5.6 इंच कौन करेगा? कांग्रेस पार्टी, हिंदुस्तान की जनता, हिंदुस्तान का किसान, हिंदुस्तान का मजदूर. देख लेना आप.
The land acquisition bill was back in the limelight a week before Parliament reconvenes for the monsoon session. But the government has come out with a masterstroke, and one that has stumped the opposition too. We learn from top government sources that nearly 14 to 15 states are expected to seek the centre's approval to enact their own land acquisition laws. This is an idea the Chief Minister of Maharashtra, Devendra Fadnavis, mooted, and one that struck the right chord with the top BJP leadership in New Delhi. With this, the Modi government has found a way to reduce its dependence on the land ordinance, even as experts question why the Modi government didn't do this in the first place and avoid repromulgating that land ordinance 3 times. Sources say it will be up to the states to decide if they want to dilute or set aside the contentious 51% consent clause and the social impact assessment as mandated by the current central law. If they decide to do so, the states will have to seek the centre's consent, and the Modi government's views are well known on this subject. It's convinced smooth land acquisition is impossible with those 2 extant provisions. The Modi government had promulgated the ordinance to dilute those 2 very provisions, and for sectors that include defence, rural infrastructure, industrial corridors and affordable housing. And this brainwave has also got the thumbs up from legal experts.
Yes, constitutionally speaking, that is possible. There is a provision to that effect in Article 254 of the Constitution, which says that if there is a prior parliamentary legislation and a state government or a state legislature wants to deviate from it, then it has to pass that enactment and then send it for the approval of the President. The President would mean, of course, acting on the aid and advice of the central cabinet or the cabinet of ministers in the center. So if the President is duly apprised of what is the deviation which is sought, and he then grants his assent to it, then an enactment will come into force in that state which may be repugnant or which would be repugnant to some aspect of the existing parliamentary law. The framers of the Constitution provided for that.
Legal experts may be impressed, but the opposition isn't. The upcoming parliament session promises to be a stormy one. In Mumbai, nearly 300 consumers are scared of losing their dream home. They're stuck bang in the middle of a slugfest between a builder and a lender. Buyers are questioning what did they do wrong? How is it their fault the builder defaulted and the lender now wants to auction that very property? Here's that story. The Orbit Residency Park is coming up here, close to the Mumbai airport and the Sakinaka metro station. Based on Orbit Residency Park's fantastic location, buoyed by great connectivity, buying into this project would seem like a wise decision. That's exactly what 300 home buyers thought when they booked flats in this project. But things haven't gone at all as per plan. The buyers are now stuck as the builder has defaulted on a 250 crore rupee loan from LIC Housing Finance. Once OPPN defaulted, LIC Housing Finance approached the Debts Recovery Tribunal or the DRT. The lender has attached the OPPN Residency Park as per the SARFAESI Act and plans to auction this very property. The SARFAESI Act allows banks and NBFCs to recover dues by selling properties of defaulters. Buyers are now scared at the prospect of losing their dream home.
मैंने जनवरी में ही 2010 में बुक किया था. उस टाइम ऑर्बिट का काफ़ी नाम था और उसके भरोसे ही हमने उसमें पैसा अपने घर के लिए पैसा लगाया था.
3 साल से कुछ काम चालू नहीं हुआ है और ना एश्योरेंस आ रहा है बिल्डर से कि कब काम चालू होगा.
मेरे साथ 300 लोगों ने फ्लैट बुक किए हुए हैं और सबकी जो वैल्यू काउंट करो तो अराउंड 70 लाख से शुरू होके 1 करोड़ के अबाउ हर फ्लैट की वैल्यू है.
Here's the timeline. In 2008, LIC Housing Finance gave a 250 crore rupee loan to OPPN. In 2013, OPPN was declared a defaulter for not repaying 95.5 crore rupees. Proceedings began under the SARFAESI Act. OPPN Residency Park, spread across 175,000 square feet, was attached. LIC Housing Finance has invited bids for an auction slated for this month. OPPN is contesting this auction at the DRT. Incidentally, LIC Housing Finance had also attached the OPPN Grand and OPPN Midtown in Lower Parel. OPPN managed to get a stay order against the attachment of those two properties.
जज ने बहुत फेवरेबली हमें सुना और हमें 15 दिन का समय दिया है एक इंटरवेंशन एप्लीकेशन फाइल करने का ताकि हम एक ट्राइपार्टाइट ये डिस्कशन हो जाए और उसमें हमारे राइट्स भी प्रोटेक्टेड हों.
The buyers are stuck right in the middle of this fight between OPPN and LIC Housing Finance. They're pinning all their hopes on the next hearing of the DRT, that's on July 27th. LIC Housing Finance has given OPPN till July 30th to submit its own bid and says the formal auction proceedings will begin on July 31st. This entire situation perhaps would not have gotten so messy had we had a real estate regulator. Next week, the 21-member Rajya Sabha Select Committee will submit its final report on the real estate regulator bill. We're going to get you all the details of that right here on Prime Property. For now, we're going to go into a short break. On the other side, we get ICICI to give tips on how you can improve your eligibility for a home loan. Stay tuned.